dude. I'm on a different plane.
Yeah.
The vibes all night were on point. I gotta say, just Carl Cox, dude, because it's subjective, right? And I was like going for him. Going for the experience, but the cherry on top.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yes, oh yes, LA. How we doing? I was like, I thought he would do some house kind of like vibes,
He dabbled a little bit. He had that
with the percussion.
Yeah, you're right.
Like he would loop a percussion.
Yeah.
But the main tracks were saucy, they were juicy, they were bumping. I was like,
Yeah, I feel like in most communities you want to try to keep it not so much like ruin it or like making it too mainstream, but you want to try to garner like an inclusive sort of like community, where it's sort of like people are coming through, they're about the vibe, and they're not gonna like turn into something that's like a club, because if you go to a club, it's like sort of like this weird bravado type of thing, and it's like a showing off type, like who can get the biggest bottle or type of thing, but like with these things you don't really, from the Taste of Love, the event that you brought me to, that was like not like that. It wasn't like
it wasn't even an event.
Yeah.
That's the norm. That's what we do every Sunday. Well, most Sundays.
It was more like a almost like kind of like that family gathering type of thing. It was like friends you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Who put you on that, first of all?
Well, Josh, the main guy.
Yeah.
I was interested in like shuffling, and he used to like do classes or just like help you out or whatever. And I literally would go over there like on a random day because he was like off in the morning, like a Tuesday or something, and we'd go get. I pay him in burritos. Like we'd go get breakfast burritos. No joke, helping each other, dude. He was hungry. He was hungry. We'd go buy his food.
He's hungry. I want to dance.
And then I kind of transitioned into knowing him in his studio and then DJing at his studio.
Oh, cool.
And that was like the early days where it was like super random. Like anybody could show up. It was kind of wild, wild west. You bring there's no time slot recognition. You just show up, whatever, and you could play whatever. It was like trance, hardstyle, drum and bass, but it had to like some music didn't appeal to like shuffling, so it had to kind of
So dancing was a big part of this.
A big part of it, and then
so were there eras where the dancing would change, or was it something that stayed consistent?
Yeah, like the people would change their shuffle like a lot around like that. Like originally when we started, there was the early EDC days, so it was very like dead mousey like music that they would like, or like electronic music in general. And so their shuffles were more like Mass or Cali style, which were like bigger stomps and like more just kind of the same motion back and forward. And now they get into it. Now they mix like hip hop break beats. Like they do all kinds of stuff. It's just like gnarly. And we'll do like psytrance or trance because you can still shuffle really good to it. They can't keep up to that pace. They get tired.
It's faster.
Stamina.
It's faster, yeah, for sure.
So it goes back down to techno. Sometimes guys come and play like house, and they play really good house music, and they love it too because they're grooving and they're dancing. They can still dance, but they like the fucking smacks.
Yeah.
So it's developed my DJ style. Watching them the last few years, like it went from just DJing and doing shows and like, hey, I like it, to it becoming like its own thing where now it's a style. Like, and it's catching on. Yeah, it's just watching the crowd over and over, seeing what does work, what doesn't work.
Yeah, that's really invaluable as like as an artist, like producer, DJ, because you're getting immediate feedback from the crowd.
That's exactly what I say.
That's like so like invaluable as a producer, because now you're conscious of what's gonna make the crowd go crazy.
Yeah.
Because you want to get the dancers.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to get the
always get them going. Everybody else gets
going. Exactly. I mean, you want to try to get everyone dancing. You can try to focus to the people who are like on the wall and stuff. But if you get the people who are dancers and you get them vibing, that vibe is infectious. The first event I DJ'd, it was like a friend of mine. He put us onto this pool bar. And it was like a country type of vibe. Yeah, it was a rough like.
I've done those.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be there.
Shouldn't be there. And I was playing on like a controller. I didn't even have Ableton and everything. So it was but it was really cool to have that exposure. Was the main thing, was to get that. We did a few more shows after that, and then I started moving into more DJing stuff. But that was the first like time I got in front of people and was like, this is my music, I'm just jamming out. Yeah.
I didn't even know he DJed until right now.
Yeah. It was really high anxiety. Yeah. I was
stressful, huh?
It was pretty stressful because I was like, I know they're not really into it. I'm gonna be like just doing this for like 40 minutes and then that's it.
There's a bit of like shame to it.
There's
too.
a bit because
like,
you're vulnerable.
Yeah, you're like, I get it, guys, my bad, but I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I had one of those shows happen to me at a bar that was like, a bunch of like trouble-looking dudes wearing Raider stuff, Dodger stuff. They did not want that music. They wanted the oldies, at least some hip hop, right? I had the girls like coming up and asking me. I was like, dude, but the guy that organized that event, he just put it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
He set us up for that. My very first experience DJing was at a sweatshop.
Wow.
In downtown LA.
That's crazy.
Yeah, at a warehouse.
Wow.
So I met this guy named Bobby. He's part of Polar Nights, which is a collective I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
They mostly do house and tech house. I think I told you a little bit about them.
Okay.
And they do a lot of shows in LA, and even like Hollywood, and mostly like legit locations, not just bars, but places like we do CIA, which is like California Institute of Abnormalities. So there's like a museum, but it's also a club at night. So we do stuff like that, like cool venues. We used to do burner venues, like burner.
Oh yeah,
venues.
yeah.
Lots of cool ones. And had residency even at a burner like community called Purple 33. Like people will line up to get into.
Yeah, I bet.
You heard all kinds of accents in the line, kind of thing,
Yeah, people all over the world.
Yeah. I was kind of getting into the scene. I wasn't really into it yet. I would do friend shows, basically, house parties, and he kind of brought me on, and he's like, "Hey, this is my first show." And at the time, I was learning from Zojer. He started DJing first, and I would watch him. That's how I picked it up. And at the time, I was still kind of shy, so I was like, "Hey, we've been DJing at home and shit. Like, you want to join me on this show?" And so we did a thing for a while, for like a year, where we did back-to-backs. But we went, and it was a sweatshop. We set up, we played. It was probably like 4 of our friends right there. There was it was cracking, but not in our spot, And that day, Mino Lesu or something like that, he's from Australia, he's a trance DJ, and Christina Sky was a local LA trance DJ, and they're like pretty big people. They came and they fucking sold out the place.
Wow.
Like, there was people lined up outside of the sweatshop.
Wow.
And that was the bad thing, right? So the cops caught wind of this because they saw the line. So they ended up closing it, and the guy that came from Australia, he was supposed to play like for 6 hours and shit, like straight, And they closed it, and it got raided, and my friends were there, and they got to see that, and they're like, "What are you into? Like, what are you doing, Yeah. Shit, in LA, you're just gonna find like some makeshift warehouse with like a bartender that looks like your sister's friend. And like speakers that are like okay, they're kind of like beat up, but they're okay, and just a bunch of people like on their own muses, like dancing their asses off. Although nowadays some people like to like talk a lot at places like that, and just everybody having a good time, dude. You feel it too, if it's like real or not, There's just that's how it was for me.
Toronto's perspective. You'll find a group of people trying to go to a warehouse event, and you'll see some friends that you haven't seen in a while get really sweaty inside.
And not that different.
Yeah, it's very similar.
That just like in general for most people, it just enhances the experience of listening, which is pretty odd to begin with. It's like invisible. And it's felt, and so you take some sort of inhibitor that allows you to like lower your filters and feel a little more, and it just becomes that much more sensational, In order for like sounds to have more room, like not be so narrow, and add an overdrive and add like width to it and stuff. You just give yourself a lot of headroom.
Fair.
Don't clip like ever, so that when you're in the mix, you have like a natural -6 dB of room to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Not like a forced version of it.
Yeah.
The way my buddy explained it, he said it's like, think about it this way: it's like you are taking money out from one account and putting it to the other. And your main account could be like just distorting everything. Or you can have your savings account, and the difference is like you're gonna spend this, you're gonna run out of this eventually, if you save over time, you have enough to do and invest in other things. Like
Wow.
You can invest in your sound.
I've never heard a sound.
Yeah, like you can invest in mixing very low so that you have more when you bring it up, like with the limiter at the end.
For sure.
More distortion and
Yeah.
color and shit like that. What do you mean?
Economics and music, what?
Yeah. That all makes sense.
What was that? Was that
Like sharpness?
was that? It's like an angular.
Oh, that would be this, like drum.
Yes. Oh, that's fire.
This is what starts the track.
Mm.
I was thinking of Linkin Park Crawling. When it ends, the sync. That's what that sounds like.
That's cool. That's cool.
A version of it.
Inspiration. Nasty.
The thing about techno, my dude, that you're gonna learn, it's so simple. But you gotta get all the elements right? You gotta get all that groove right, and then it makes sense.
There's a certain, there's like an instrument called it's like a synthesizer.
Okay.
And it's called a 303, and it's basically this little machine like this big, and it makes sounds. And when you modulate some of the knobs on it, you affect the frequency of it, and it makes this like opening noise, and then it closes, and it's like and you have a sequence of notes, so it'll play like a and as you're modulating like the knobs, it makes it seem like it's like talking or breathing. So it's like, yeah, it's really interesting. You should look up an acid bass line and like throw it in the video, and like you'll see exactly what it is. It's like, and when they discovered that, it was like they made this huge like subgenre called acid house or acid techno, and it's like a very distinct noise, a distinct sound. If you'll definitely hear it in like a lot of tracks when you get into it, and it's like it's a big part of the techno music and house music.
There you go.
You gotta charge him for that. That was really well put together.
Oh yeah, that was
One burrito, please.
damn. God damn. I like the sense of space that you have. It's really the headroom. It really shows.
Yeah. See how this is now up here? Almost.
Yeah.
It's really right here. Right?
Yeah, I know it's not visual anything.
Yeah, it really worked on the soundscape.
Good. It shows.
There's the acoustics in this room too.
Would you ever be down to come over to Canada?
Would I ever be what?
Be down to come over to Canada?
Oh yeah.
When would you be free to come over?
Well, as soon as I get my passport, I'm about to get it.
Yeah?
I submitted it for when did I submit it? January? So I should get it by April.
Okay, cool.
When's a good time to go?
Because my friend and I, we started to do a mix series, and we bought like a controller, not controller, but like the RDJ like standalone like
The
Pioneer mixer. Yeah, so we got the whole thing.
Okay.
It's got 4 channels on it. So if you want to hook up your tractor, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Depends on what you want to bring, but if you want to do DJ,
USB and headphones.
yeah, you just come through, and then and then you can stay over his place.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Doja will want to go.
Yeah.
Arrange it.
I think we could probably definitely do that.
Man.
Yeah.
Like, over tell my girlfriend, hey, I'm leaving tonight.
Yeah.
Tell my job I'm not showing up. Josh and I are going to Canada. Oh, okay, dumbass. See ya. Bye. Bye. See if your house is here when you get back.
And I was like, what the fuck's happening? And then here was with the helicopter.
Oh,
the CGI.
picture you took?
I took the photo.
Yeah, I thought it was from a movie.
No, I know, right? I just snagged it. I was like, what the fuck is happening? The road was closed, and I'm on this bus. I'm like, what the fuck?
I like straight out thought this is something you would find in a Pino like 1990, circa 1998 or so shit.
That's the biggest compliment, bro.
You know what I mean?
That's the biggest compliment.
What's this shit from?
This is actually a Christmas song. So it's called the Valencia,
Oh.
and apparently it's like a Spanish like Christmas carol. Yeah.
part felt great. This part's super dope. It's just so effective.